Hello, my fellow individuals. I am Mr. Mini Mask Man here, and today I'm going to review Season 6, Episode 10, or the season finale of Game of Thrones. Now, obviously, if you've not seen that episode, then please do not watch this video as it contains spoilers. Now, my response for this season finale. Bravo. Goddamn, man. That was a good season finale for that series. I think that one's my favorite season finale of Game of Thrones. Easily. So well done. The shots of the whole episode, the the acting specifically from Sir Davos, I thought was the best acting in that episode. The music. God, the music in the beginning, everything was just great. And the arcs, all of the individual arcs technically are done, so now they're moving on to their final arc, or their final part of the story from the last two seasons that's coming up. So it didn't leave with a cliffhanger or anything like that, unlike season 6 of Walking Dead, hintity hint. So yeah, I mean, man, this season finale, I loved it. Loved this episode without a doubt. God damn. But yeah, I mean, such a good episode. Good way to wrap up the season, for sure. No doubt, my favorite of this series. Now, usually what I do in these reviews, I always go on the episode breakdown, where I break down the episode scene for scene, and explain details of what happened. And all that stuff, even the unimportant parts, which usually that's why I kind of expand and my videos are long. Because this one had so many things going on, so many things to talk about, I'm actually not going to do an episode breakdown. All I'm going to do probably in this video, I'm just going to talk about the main parts, or even the snippets, but if it's the little snippets or unimportant parts, I'm just going to zoom in on that. But the real important parts, and the best parts of the episode, I will talk more about it and explain it, or on detail how I felt or what I'm going to think is going to happen next and these characters and so forth. Even in the scenes of the episode are kind of out of order on how I explain it, but I'm just going to do it that way. So, yes. Now, okay. First, I would say let's talk about Cersei. The whole... God, the way that the episode started just gave me chills. The music, the intensity, everything was just well done on that. I mean, I give props on that for sure. About the trial for Cersei and all that's been happening for Cersei and Loras Tyrell. Now, people in the theories, when they explained it, or predictions, an episode or 2 episodes ago, what Cersei would do, it came true. So she did, in the end, use wildfire and frickin' blew up, God, not all of them, but the main part of King's Landing where all the Septums were Marjorie. Now, another dead character, so rest in peace, Marjorie Tyrell. I didn't want to see her go. She was actually a pretty good player in the Game of Thrones, but it is what it is. It's Game of Thrones, so, But yeah, Marjorie, Loras, Mace Tyrell, and freaking Pycelle died. I'm actually happy about that one. He was just annoying me. But yeah, they got rid of all of them, just like that freaking wildfire when Lannister saw it, underground. So it was actually a pretty wicked move from Cersei. I don't like her character, but you have to admit, I wouldn't call it genius because of the results, which I'll explain later, but it was kind of a clever thing. But as a short-term problem, but as a long-term thing, not so much. But yeah, so now Cersei, it was just her at the Red Keep, if I recall, and Tommen, because of she sent the Mountain, or Sir Gregor Clegane in this show, they call it now Sir Robert Strong, but he kind of hold him off to not get in there. Now, then you see Cersei with the nun, that was, the shame, that nun. She actually wrapped her up and is gonna do things to her where she says, basically revenge. And then the worst revenge, or worst way possible, she wasn't gonna kill her immediately. She actually sent in the mountain. You actually see the mountain remove his helmet for the first time, and you see part of his face in the shadows. It's kind of more of that Darth Vader look. But yeah, so I assume the mountain will probably torture. Some people say it's probably gonna rape her every day until Cersei feels like killing her. But yeah, and geez. Now, okay, the Tommen thing. There's a lot of memes going on and jokes about, and Tommen's suicide. And I laugh at him every time I see him, I really do. But if you really think about it, I actually feel bad for Tommen. Because he's just, okay, he was a kid after Joffrey's death. He was just a kid announced king. And he doesn't know what to do. He's just kind of following orders, first from Tywin, then being manipulated from Marjorie, then from his mother Cersei, and then, at the end, the High Sparrow, and all that. And he was just kind of like a puppet throughout the whole series. At least from his arc. But he really thought around the end of this season that he was actually doing something good. He actually thought he was being a good king, and all that, and he thought he was doing the right thing, and he believed in it, even though we know it's more the High Sparrow's strings on that. But he was just a kid that wanted to do good. He wanted to be a good king, and he just wanted his wife back, Marjorie, and just everything right. In a way, even though they're religious zealots, the whole Sparrows and all that issue, they were kind of fixing some things in King's Landing. I can't really say it, can't think of it like exactly what they're fixing, but it was kind of making it a somewhat better place, basically punishing the wicked, the bad, in this case all we saw was Cersei, but like, a season ago. But yeah, I feel bad for Tom, especially, like I said, I think his suicide is kind of a darker scene if you think about it. No music, completely silent. Tommen just sees through the window, that place just blown up. He knows everything that he believed and worked for is gone, just like that in an instant. His loved one, Marjorie Tyrell, dead as well. And the worst part, he knows that was his mom, Cersei. So he puts his crown aside, saying, he failed as a king, and he just couldn't take it. It's just so emotionless. And then he immediately went to the window, no hesitation, and falls to his death. Now, and like I said, yeah, there's jokes about, so that's why they call it King's Landing, or stuff like that. But joking aside, I thought I kind of felt bad for the kid. He was just a kid put in a bad position and cursed with the whole Lannister name, or technically Baratheon, but in reality Lannister. So yeah, and afterwards when Cersei saw his body, you didn't see her break down or cry like before, because she kind of knew this prophecy came true. It was almost like she does feel bad, but she just doesn't have time for that anymore, basically. She just had to move on to her plans. And so what happened was, after Jaime, when he came back from his visit from the Freys, not visit, but what he had to do over there after the celebration, he came back and he saw the place all destroyed. Not all of it, but you know what I'm talking about. And he sees, I kind of like the lighting where everything was dark in the throne room, like the darkness. Cersei all dressed in black. You see a bunch of Kingsguard along, with Qyburn and Sir Gregor Clegane walking with her. And he puts the crown on her, and now she is the queen now of King's Landing, or Westeros. So we got her queen, and Jaime, kind of see that disappointment or anger or sadness or confusion in his face. It was like a lot of mixed things on one facial expression. I'd give props to that, where it's not one definite, it's more like a lot of things in one facial expression. So and you see Cersei just kind of sitting down. It's like the people in there, they didn't even feel, they were silent in the beginning. They just had to say, cheer for her when they had to, but I don't think no one's happy at all that she's now ruling. For sure. Just her. Because she basically got rid of all all the councilmen and her lineage and all that gone. It's just her now. So what I mean by that previous plan, the wildfire, is gonna go back now to what's gonna happen with Daenerys coming over. Because now Cersei completely is just her and whatever's in her Lannister army. From when Daenerys comes, I don't think there's not a chance she could win. At all. I don't see it. I don't think Cersei was thinking long term in this case. Like I said, she was just pure reaction of a short term problem. Or in reality, she's now in a bigger situation of this long term issue with Daenerys coming to Westeros. Because of what happened, Olenna Tyrell went to Dorne, and when I saw the Dorne scene, I was like, oh god, not Dorne again. But she was making negotiations with Ellaria Sand. It's Ellaria Sand, right? Not Ellaria Martell. I don't recall, but yeah. So, anyways, yeah, with Ellaria, I'm just gonna say Ellaria because I forgot the last names. But now, basically, they both hate Cersei, especially Olenna after she heard the news of what happened there. Now that Marjorie's dead and her son, her granddaughter, grandson are dead. So obviously she wants vengeance, and so does Ellaria, in some really stupid way, but she wants it. So Ellaria has a proposition, and you see Varys come in. I'm like, oh, so that's where Varys went the whole time. And he just said, the solution, fire and blood, which is the words of the Targaryens. So now you see that now you got the Tyrells, whatever's left of them, and Dorne now joining forces with Daenerys. So now there's two more allies that Daenerys has. So then Daenerys is in Meereen. She basically tells Daario to stay at Meereen with the Second Sons to keep the peace while she's gone to Westeros. And Daario, he wants to go there because, the typical, I love you, blah blah blah, but she said no. So she goes to Tyrion, and she really trusts Tyrion that she actually made a pen for the hand of the king. In this case, the hand of the queen. And Tyrion, I kind of like that scene. It made him very emotional face. That he was like, it's like what he wanted. I mean, even previous when he was handed the king the first time. I mean, this one he's finally somebody's counselor advisement of a ruler that he truly believes in. Not a ruler where it's like, oh god, like last night, like with Joffrey or somebody else. He actually believes Daenerys, and he will do anything to help her out, her advice and counsel. So he's, one of the first times I've seen actually him kneel to somebody compared to Joffrey. When he forced him to kneel, he didn't care. He wasn't going to kneel for Joffrey. But for Daenerys, he totally respects her and he kneels for her. So I thought that bows and kneels. So I thought that was pretty touching moment. I liked it. So now, Daenerys, and this was like at the end of the episode, where you see Daenerys finally, at long last, finally, she is going to Westeros. You see her with her fleet. You see, Grey Worm on one boat, on one ship, and you see Daenerys, Tyrion, Missandei, and Varys. And I know people, even me, I was like, how did Varys get there so quick? He was just in Dorne, and now he's just back in Meereen, or sailing, I mean. And then you see her with the 3 dragons and the Dothraki, all the Unsullied. And then you see some ships for the Martells and the Tyrells. And then you see, Theon and Yara, thanks to the help of them, with the Greyjoys. At least most of the Greyjoys are part of them in alliance with Daenerys from last episode that we recall. Everybody going to Westeros. And I thought that's how it was beautifully how it ended. And I was like, man, finally her first 6 seasons of her stuck in one area claiming to go to this Westeros took her that long, but she finally got what she needed, everything. Let's go ahead, and I'm finally glad to see that, and maybe for once in this part I finally got to see a Daenerys scene, because that's why I was getting tired of her scenes after maybe after season 3, or around season 3, where I'm like, okay, come on, go to Westeros, do something. And it's been taking a season after season, episode per episode, you're kind of like, come on, let's go. But it was just so slow, but it's finally happening, so I'm glad her arc and Meereen and Essos in general is done. Westeros. Boom. Can't wait to see. And now things are going to happen, which again, going back to Cersei, how the hell is Cersei going to deal with all of that? With 3 dragons, Dothraki, Unsullied, Daenerys, Tyrion, Varys, the great part of the Greyjoys, the Dornish men or army, the Tyrell army that's left over. I mean, how? And the only people are saying, well, there's still wildfire possibly, so she'll probably just say, you know what, use all of the wildfire and just burn it all. Which, in reference to the Mad King. In this case, she's beat the Mad Queen. And there's people, and even I thought of this, where I said, what if Jaime has to kill Cersei? It's like a little deja vu when he did that with the Mad King. So it's kind of more of a poetic tragedy, where he has to end up killing Cersei, and he might kill himself too if he loves Cersei. I don't know, but something like that, or he will, probably, like in the prophecy, she'll probably be strangled. Even though with Jaime, it'd probably be with one hand, while the other's just kind of like there, but or at least he leans like his false hand, like really, like tightening while he's holding up with the other. I don't know, but I assume Jaime will. I'm assuming Jaime will do it. He is gonna kill her, I think, because of that situation. So, but yeah, finally Daenerys is heading there. I'm happy for that part. So now Daenerys, his story's finally moved along. Now, I would say the only thing that when we go to season 7, I don't think she's just gonna arrive at Westeros and then boom, start. I actually think there will be one more conflict she has to encounter on the way there, and that is Euron Greyjoy. Now, there wasn't that much this season, but maybe 2 scenes if I recall. But I think before they go there, I think they're gonna have some minor conflicts or trouble with Euron Greyjoy and his so-called fleet, since months have passed. Even though the show didn't look like that, but yeah, I believe quite a while has passed. So I think he has a so-called 500 to 1,000 ships ready, his fleet. So I think there's going to be in season 7, Daenerys and all of the fleet are going to battle on like, think about like the sequel to 300. Kind of like those kind of fights, like ship battles. Or in pirate movies, stuff like that. So it's going to be like a bunch of ship battles. Euron against Daenerys. Now, Daenerys has dragons, she has a lot of things, so I would say, well, Daenerys can easily take Euron, maybe 1 or 2 episodes at most. So it's kind of like, I'd be disappointed if they just added Euron just for a tiny minor conflict, and then he's done and they move on, which I kind of do want to see, because I want to see Daenerys in Westeros, but at the same time, I'd be disappointed on wasting Euron Greyjoy's character just like that. You know what I mean? Unless Euron, he has the so-called secret weapon, if you know what I'm talking about. So that's the only thing I can see, maybe, that they'll probably do. If they're not going to include that, then I don't see how Euron is going to win, how he's going to beat the dragons. The dragons are just, all 3 of them, just going to torch most of those ships while they're fighting, the Euron's fleet. But I don't know, but that's one. I would say from this point series, there's only 4 threats left in this show. You got Cersei Lannister, obviously. You got Euron Greyjoy. You got Peter Littlefinger Baelish, a big one. And the biggest one of them all, which everybody already knows, you got the Night King and his army of Whites and White Walkers. That's the final conflict, I would say. They'll probably focus that whole thing probably in season 8, the final season, I would say. And this whole season is going to focus on Cersei, a little bit of Euron as a side thing. Littlefinger, I think, is going to be throughout the rest of the show. I think he may be up to season 8 or at the end of season 7, and then season 8 is just pure, let's duke it out with the Night King and the White Walkers and Whites. I don't know, but yeah. But that's my speculation, because people keep forgetting about Euron, but I think Euron's gonna cause some trouble with Daenerys first. So we will see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that happened. Okay, there was a small scene. Sam, he finally arrives at Old Town with Gilly and baby Sam, and he sees the Citadel's freaking huge. And he wants to be there to be a Meister. That's his dream, to help out Jon as much as he can with the knowledge that he knows and the knowledge that he hopes to seek in the Citadel. So they take him in for now until they get, official word from the higher ups. But he's like, he was so happy when he saw the books. So many books and all that, and some Easter eggs from the intro of this series. You guys already know. But I thought that was pretty cool. And even though people say Sam, boring character or waste of screen time, I actually really like Sam. He's one of I think the only character per se of pure goodness and pure heart, who is he's not a good fighter, he's not, a confident person and stuff like that, but he tries his best to do things. Hell, he's the first one that killed the White Walker in the series, so I give him credit for that. So I think he'll be very freaking useful in this series. What I'm speculating and what I read too online, Sam is going to try to figure out a way to take down the White Walkers. He knows about the Dragon Glass, and if I recall, the Valyrian Steel. And he took Heartsbane, which is his dad's, or the family's, Valyrian Steel sword. He took it with him. So what I think and what other people theorize is that he'll get the sword and study a lot about Valyrian and Dragonglass and the correlation between those two and how it was forged, and he would probably find out that information, and once he knows everything about that, he's gonna probably send ravens, or he himself is gonna go to Jon and the people of the North to tell him, hey, I figured it out, this is what you guys gotta do. Now the funny thing is, if there is a way to forge it, I think this is when finally we will see Gendry Baratheon. Or, well, he's not a Baratheon, he is Baratheon, he's a Baratheon bastard, but you know what I mean, Gendry. So I think this is when Gendry's finally going to show up to say, hey, I'm a blacksmith, I can help you do this. I think that's the only reason I could see Gendry coming back, is for that. So, yeah, like I said, Sam will probably discover something about the whole Dragonglass and Valyrian Steel deal, how it can be forged, and then with the help of Gendry, I thought that'd be pretty cool. So I would say Sam. Remember, guys, every show needs a Sam, and usually Sam is the real hero for the most part. Every character named Sam in a show is always the true hero. The sidekicks are always the one that do the most work than the protagonist or the heroes. Most of the time, not always, but I don't know. I'm a rooter for underdogs, and I want to continue cheering for Sam, even though people dislike the character because there's nothing exciting about him. Because he's one that I would kind of surprised. I thought you guys would like to see, or the audience, or the viewers, the fans of Game of Thrones, would finally like to see a person doing well who's not involved too much of the drama and the dangers and all that. So it's kind of going good for Sam. I know he has the minor problems of all the characters in the series, but I'm glad Sam is doing well so far. He's such a good guy. I think I'll feel the most tragic, besides Hodor, same deal, because he was a pure heart character. So I would feel the same way if Sam dies. I would actually feel really bad. Some people will say, oh, thank God. Boring character, they scrapped him off good. But for me, I actually want Sam to live through the series. One of the few characters I actually would love to see him live through the whole series. And if he dies, I hope he dies the best way out there. Like an honorable way, or not so tragic way, because Sam doesn't deserve a very tragic death. But it is Game of Thrones, so you know. But I'm rooting for Sam, and I hope Sam can find what he needs to take care of that White Walker issue, or any issue in Westeros. Okay, now let's see if I recall. I think one of the next big things was, okay, we actually see the Freys again, and you see Walder Frey after the visit, from the Lannister army, the dinner and the party and all that. You see the little maid or maiden that was kind of looking at Jaime in the first scene. On this one, she was there. She was giving Walder Frey some pie, and I think he took a bite, and then he was asking where's his sons. His two sons. And Arya, I already spoiled. Well, you already saw the episode, so she was like, "Oh, they're here," and he's like, "Where?" It's like they're. She points at here, and he sees part of the pie. I think he sees like a fingernail or a fingertip, and he like starts choking up, and he's kind of trembling, and you see the maiden reveal her face. It was friggin' Arya Stark. I'm like, damn, Arya's back. She's in Westeros, so I was excited. And her typical things like, my name is Arya Stark, and and this is the last thing you're gonna see, a Stark looking down at you while you're dying on your death, something like that. And Walder Frey was freaking out. She grabs him, slits his throat, while she's holding his head like that. And Arya got another name off that list. Check off that list. So Walder Frey's dead, and his two sons. So the revenge is almost complete for Arya. I don't know, I think there's only 2 names left, if I recall, or at least in the series. Maybe in the books there's more, but in the series it's Cersei, and other people are speculating that Arya will be the one to kill Cersei. People are speculating how Cersei will die, either between Jaime, like in the prophecy, Arya for her final revenge kill, or Daenerys and her dragons when she goes to Westeros. We don't know. But out of the 3, I'm actually leaning more towards Jaime because of the whole prophecy. And if it was a second choice, I would say Arya. But yeah. Now, I hope Arya reunites with Jon and Sansa up in the north. Somehow. I really wish. At least to get more Stark reunions. Because now there's only 4 left. Well, including Benjen 5. But, between the main family, 4. So yeah. But yeah, Arya got her revenge. I was so excited when that happened. But I was like, yes! Another point for Arya. So Arya's a badass assassin. And that we know. And she's putting it to good use. Which I'm kind of curious where she got the face. Did she kill the girl? Or was she always that maiden since the beginning? And why was she staring at Jaime with, those weird looks? If it was her. If it was not, did she kill the girl to steal her face? I don't know. Or I don't think she took faces from the House of Black and White. I don't think she was allowed to take faces. I think that was why she was punished the first time, if I recall. But yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into that. But anyways, yeah, so Arya, revenge kill, check. So yeah, 2 more names, Cersei and the Mountain. So just those last 2. And speaking of the Mountain, I don't know how it's gonna go down with him. I know the Clegane Bowl is the most hyped thing. I don't know if it'll come true because frickin' the Hound is like is almost, it's at almost north. I think it's at River Run around that area where the Brotherhood of Banners are. I assume he's gonna join them, but their whole business is gonna go up north. So I don't know how the hell the Hound is gonna see, the Mountain or Sir Gregor Clegane, Sir Robert Strong, however you want to call him. I don't know how they're gonna meet up and fight. I don't know yet, unless Cersei gives him an assignment to go up north to maybe deal with, I think maybe, that's the only way I can think of it. Maybe Cersei sends Gregor Clegane to the north to say, hey, you know what? Jon Snow and Sansa, they're a threat. I'm gonna send him and a part of the Lannister army to go in it and fight those guys. And maybe while they're crossing paths while he's going north, maybe he'll encounter the Brotherhood Without Banners, and the Hound will see him, and then we get the Clegane fight that we all been waiting for. I think that's the only way I can see that happening. If not, then I don't think it'll never happen, as much as I want it to happen. So that's my theory about that, and I hope it comes true. But yeah. So what else? I'll say I think the last major thing here revolves around the north. and Winterfell, or Jon Snow. Now, Jon, well, okay. You see him there, and you see Melisandre just kind of telling him, things are going well and so forth. And you see Davos just pissed, and he goes and starts, she's telling Melisandre to tell Jon. He gives her the stag that Shireen had, and he tells her the truth of what happened. So she tells him, and like I said, I gotta give it to, I apologize for not knowing the actor's name, but who plays Sir Davos. That acting was just so well done. It was very emotional. Like that, you can see like anger and despair, everything in one. He did it so well. I thought that was a pretty believable, emotional scene. So I was just kind of like, wow, So he wants her dead, and Jon, after hearing that, because I would say because he's Jon Snow, he likes to sort of give him a chance, but not too much either. So he tells her basically, you're exiled from the north. He says if you come back, right south. If you come back in the north, you will be hanged as a murderer. And she's trying to tell him that she wants to help Jon because he needs the help against the Night King and the White Walkers. But obviously he doesn't care. He's just sending her south. He just doesn't want to see her again. And Sir Davos definitely doesn't want to see her again, like he said, or else he'll kill her himself. So you see Melisandre's right south, which I think that's how she's going to meet Arya again. Because remember, she told Arya Stark before, said, hey, I have a feeling that we'll see each other again in some way. But I think she will encounter Arya. I think she'll encounter Arya, and maybe the Brotherhood without banners as well. I don't know. But for sure, at one of those two or both of them, she'll encounter on the way there. That's at least what I'm speculating. And then you see Jon and Sansa outside, and Sansa basically, they have another. He apologized for not telling Jon about Littlefinger and the Vale and all that, but all is forgiven. Jon just says, as long as we don't fight each other, because we got plenty of enemies, we should stick together. And the exciting thing about that scene only was just when she said, hey Jon, a raven came by, a white raven, which means winter is finally here, officially here. And again, yes, after so many seasons of Ned Stark's words, or the House Stark's words, winter is coming, it finally came. Winter is here, which I'm like, at long last it's here, even though it's bad news for the show because White Walkers and so forth. So, but it was kind of a awesome moment. So I'm like, wow, so winter's finally here. Yay. Now, here, and then you see Sansa by herself, and you see basically Littlefinger, doing this whole Littlefinger thing. Kind of sort of a love thing with Sansa, but with hidden agendas as always. He basically told her what he wanted. He just wants to sit on the Iron Throne. That is his goal. And he says, but I want you by my side. And he tried to give that weird kind of creepy Peter Baelish kiss on Sansa. But she doesn't let him. And she basically just tells him to go away. Or to stay. She doesn't trust him. Obviously. Who would trust Littlefinger anymore? But, yeah, so she's just basically keeping an eye on him. But he's also got a scheme going on. So, we gotta watch out for Littlefinger. I don't know what's his next move now, which is going to go to this next interesting scene I'm going to talk about. But yeah, so Littlefinger. Now, we go to Bran, and Uncle Benjen, or what's it called, or Cold Hands, whatever you want to call him in this show. He drops him off, and he says he has to go because he can't cross the wall. So he left Bran and Mira by the tree so Bran can seek more truth from the past. And he leaves him there, and he says he'll continue the fight, but he can't cross. This is his stop, so he can't go further. So we gotta say goodbye to Uncle Benjen for now. Maybe we'll see him again later. I don't know, but at least it was good to see him again. So it was more of a hello goodbye thing, since he was only shown in 2 episodes. Oh yeah, so he's gone. And then Bran puts his hand on the tree and and then the scene that we're waiting for in this season, it goes back to the Tower of Joy, where they left off on episode 3 this season. And you see Ned Stark go up the tower, on the Tower of Joy. And you see Lyanna Stark on the bed bleeding and telling Ned to promise her something. And she whispers the name, but we don't hear it. But it's pretty clear. So you see, there's the baby. Ned holds the baby, and I thought this was a really well done transition. You see the baby, and you hear the music building up, and zooms in on the baby just a little while the baby's eyes are opening more. And then that transition, though, when the music hits, it goes to Jon Snow's face, current Jon Snow, and it kind of zooms out. I thought that was very well. God, dude, I love that part too in that episode. So yes, R plus L equals J is officially confirmed. Yep, at long last, what we've been waiting for. Now, technically people say L equals J confirmed. We don't know about R, in this case Rhaegar. I'm pretty sure it's Rhaegar, almost 90-something% believe it's Rhaegar. It's gotta be. He's keeping it a secret. She told Ned to promise him. She says, or else Robert will kill him. And Robert Baratheon, the only babies he'll kill are the ones in Targaryen blood. It's gotta be Rhaegar. I don't know why they kept it in a whisper. But, you know, whatever. But, come on, we know. So, it is official. Jon is half Stark and half Targaryen. No more theories of maybes or more theories coming up. It's official. Done. Yes. So, wow. Yep. Jon Snow, the promised prince, right? I mean, God, yeah, just so many things. God, I just love that part. Even though, like I said, this episode, it had a lot of good things. It closed their current arcs. Well, let me at least finish here, but before I wrap it up. But yeah, so it zooms out on Jon Snow and the big revelation that we were all waiting for. It finally happened. Oh man. So now Bran knows the truth. Besides Ned and Howland Reed. I assume they're not going to add in Howland Reed in this series. But, whatever, I guess, because, you know, too many characters now. But, anyways, yeah. So, you see Jon and people, some of the houses of the North are arguing about Jon and so forth. Or they don't want to follow him, or the Stark name, because they have some issues. And you see the freaking badass Lyanna Mormont just stood up and just basically just talks down to all of them. And you say, you know what? You guys are just a bunch of pansies. And he says, you know, I believe in Jon. He did what was right. He's doing everything right. He freaking beat the Boltons. You know, obviously with help, but he freaking led it. He didn't care about the odds. This is a true leader, a true king. She said, this is my king. A king I believe in. I don't care if he's a bastard. He's a Stark to me. And this is the only king in the North that I believe in. And then, you know, they all, you know, one at a time, they're standing up, like, you know what? He's right. And they're claiming him the king of the North. Everybody, one at a time, they put their sword down, sword up high, like saying, you know, he's the king in the North. The White Wolf. Which I know people are making Witcher 3 jokes about that too, but yeah, so they call him the White Wolf is his nickname, obviously because of Ghost, but yeah. And they claim him the King of the North, or as I like to say, King of the North 2.0. But yeah, it was another awesome moment. So now Jon, he actually accepts it, he stands up, you know, just kind of takes it in. So now we have our new King in the North. Hopefully he does not suffer the same fate as Robb. If he does, it'll be pretty stupid, to be honest. Not a twist, not a shock, but idiotic to bring Jon Snow back and then he dies for a stupid reason. But I don't think so. I think he will do well. Jon is going to do well. So you see, yeah, everybody cheering, and you see kind of Sansa smiling for Jon. And she looks at Littlefinger, and you know, he kind of has a weird look, like a frustration but scheming look. And Sansa kind of just doesn't, she frowns a bit and is kind of worried because now she knows he's scheming something already. Because now that they claim Jon as king in the north, Peter's kind of one step behind or down for becoming the ruler of the north and then hopefully Westeros. So now Littlefinger's planning something, which I don't know what he's going to do now. I know people are saying he's probably going to make Sansa and Jon fight each other, the kind of separation, you know, but I don't know. Because I know he was trying to put that in her head. It's like saying, don't you think you deserve the title as the Queen of the North or stuff like that? He's trying to put that in her head. So I think he's probably going to continue doing that or has something else in mind. But, you know, just stay away from Littlefinger. They just gotta take care of him somehow. As much as I love that character as a villain or as the puppeteer, the evil puppeteer of the series, he's gotta go. They gotta take care of him. But yeah, so Littlefinger's up to no good, and we're gonna see what he plans in next season, and maybe season 8 if he lives that long. But overall, I think those were all. Yeah, I think those were all the main scenes, if I recall, in that episode. So, yes, at least the important ones. But overall, this season, I was actually before episode 9 and 10, I was gonna rank this season like a season 5, which is my least favorite season, because I would say 1/3 of it has to do with Dorne, and then the other 1/3 has to do, I guess, with the slow pacing. The only thing that kept it up was, I think it was episode 8 of season 5, Hardhome, where they fought the White Walkers. I thought that was easily one of my favorite episodes, so that kind of brought it up in ranking, but it still wasn't enough. One episode wasn't enough for the whole season. But yeah, so season 6, because of those 2 episodes, I would say is definitely better than season 5. Now, is it up to par to the first 4 seasons? I would say as a season. I'm not talking about like those episodes. Those 2, episode 9 and 10, for me were what made me love, not 100% love season 6, but definitely me to say, okay, I enjoyed season 6. Specifically those 2 episodes. I would say under that would be episode 4 and 5. 4 because there's a lot of things going on, and 5 because of, you know, kind of the tragic moment of Hodor. And then episode 2 a little bit because of the resurrection of Jon. And all the episodes after that were just kind of meh, except for the Tower of Joy. I kind of like that part. But yeah, you know what I mean. Especially episode 8 was the worst one of that season. Just flat out, just not good. But episode 9 and 10 made up for it. Yeah, I love this season because, like I said, every arc from those characters kind of, they finally finished. They're not continuing, you know, dragging on there's that part of the story. Now they're moving on. They're done. They're moving on to something new and fresh, which is what I love. That's one of the reasons why I love this finale, is because it closed everything. No cliffhangers whatsoever in the end. Not an annoying type of cliffhanger where you're like, oh geez. Like, at least for me with the season 5 cliffhanger season finale, it was like, yeah, a shocking moment and all that, but it was also a little bit frustrating. You're like, is he dead or alive? Because even the books didn't say. That's where the books left off, if I recall. So it's kind of like, oh, or like I said, comparisons to season 6 of The Walking Dead. That's not how you want to end the season. This is how you should end the season. This right here is how you need to end the season for a show. This is a season finale, done the right way. So in rankings of season finales, for my most favorite to my least, season 6 is my favorite season finale of the show. Season 4 is my second favorite. I thought season 4 is still my favorite season of them all, as a whole. So season 4 is still my favorite, but as in season finale terms, season 6 did it much better. So season 6, season 4, I would say either season 5 or season 2. Probably, I'll say season 2. No, season 5 actually. Because there was a few things, but Oh no, okay, I'm stuck between season 2 and season 5, but they're kind of around there. Season 2, because I've ever recall, is the White Walkers when there's like a bunch of them. I think that's why I like the season 2 season finale, but okay, season 2. Season 5. Season 1. And I would say season 3 was my least favorite season finale because, I don't know, it wasn't as exciting. It couldn't top the episode 9 of that season. But, you know, whatever. But overall, I enjoyed this one. Everything was well done. And I can't wait to see more Game of Thrones, at least the last 2 seasons. I'm kind of happy and sad at the same time. Happy that it's almost ending is because we're getting close to finishing. And they're not going to milk it further, which I know they're cutting episodes. From rumors that I heard, 6 or 7 episodes per season for season 7 and 8. Because they're wrapping up, so I'm glad that they're not going to put up fillers or stuff like that to try to drag it on. So I'm glad they're not going to completely milk the series. They already know they're in a stop. Sad because it's going to finish. It's such a good story, and it's almost done. It's close to a finish. We're just kind of like, oh geez. But yeah, we got another year to wait. But I can't wait. God, I can't wait. So many things are gonna happen now. So many things. Season 7, I think, is gonna be now. No more BS. No more dragging on. It's just gonna go straight to the point from this point on. Season 7 and 8. It has to be. They have to go straight to the point. I don't know. Daenerys finally going to Westeros. See how all that action happens. All the North has to deal with the White Walker situation. Jeez, it's gonna be so much. Can't wait for that. But overall, if I was to rate this this season, I was gonna make a separate video for a season 6 review, but I don't think it's necessary. I'm just gonna say about this season overall. I would say it's not my favorite season, but it's not the worst. Like season 5, I would say. Well, season 5 is not terrible, but in comparison to the other seasons, it was not up there. But season 6, I've definitely above season 5. But ranking wise, number wise, rating, whatever, I give it a 8.5 out of 10, to be fair. So, like 8.5 to be fair. Maybe if 8.5. Let's just go with that. 8.5 out of 10. That's what I give season 6. Because, like I said, especially because the last 2 episodes was just kind of God, this is wow. So yes, Game of Thrones. I want to see more, and I can't wait to see how it ends, this series. So, we will see. And, yeah. I guess until next time, right? Bravo. Bravo. So, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more of these reviews or reactions or reviews for other shows later on. You'll see. You know what to do. So, I usually don't say, I know I'm kind of killing time, but I usually don't say please subscribe and like. I'll leave that in the description. But I guess I might as well say just this one exception. So, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content. And hopefully I can do my best to give better content out there. But yeah. Anyways, that's it. And winter's here, and we will now see how winter unfolds this season. So, thanks for watching. And all of you lovely Game of Thrones fans, have a nice season.